Welcome to Kaizen Time, part of the Blood, Sweat, and Business podcast, where we provide constant improvement to businesses through timely, actionable financial solutions. Do you want answers to your financial questions? Email us at bsb@kaizencpas.com. I'm your host, Mark Valesky. Now let's get started. Welcome to another episode of Kaizen Time. I'm joined by Clay Hamlin, a partner here at the firm. Clay, how are you doing?
I'm doing fine, Mark. How about you?
I'm doing quite well.
Cool.
Clay, I remember a long time ago you told me about your hockey career.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when you played hockey, I bet you had a coach.
We did. Yeah.
And I'm sure that coach taught you a lot of things about hockey that you had no idea from, obviously you probably just watched it, right?
Yep.
So let's kind of get into coaching a bit. Mm-hmm. Coaching will teach anyone in virtually any position something that they didn't know. And even business owners can benefit from it. Can you go into a little bit of detail?
Sure. Well, if you go back to the hockey analogy, the coach isn't on the ice, right?
Part of it.
And so the coach is there for a number of reasons besides teaching. During a game, the coach picks the players that are doing well and in certain situations puts them out for the right situation. Another is that the coach holds people responsible. So like, for example, if you're a star player, but you're being lazy or you're just not playing up to your potential, the coach is going to keep you on the pines. You're going to be riding the bench until
that's fixed, right?
Yeah, until you convince the coach that you're going to go out and hustle. Okay. So in a business setting, I'm a big proponent of coaches. Our firm has a coach. A number of our clients have coaches. And what it does is it's very difficult for a person to hold themselves accountable. Now, some people will say, well, my spouse holds me accountable. That's fine. Yeah, I get that. But in a business setting, especially if the spouse is at home, can they really hold you accountable day to day? Probably not. And so a business coach is there, and we're not a business coach. So I'm not trying to sell our services here. This is not what I'm doing. I have found that the high-performing businesses almost always have a coach. Now,
I want to pause. Is that like a full-time coach, or they just get coaching in little bursts? Or
in bursts, yeah. Okay. I mean, they're not there to watch over your desk day to day. Okay. But you state some goals up front, right? And the high performer will have a certain amount of competitive streak in them I'm going to hit my
push through this for 6 months.
I'm going to hit my goals.
Yeah.
But not everything is hit right. And also helping the business owner to think through what are worthy goals is a super important function of a coach. So like, for example, in hockey, you might say, well, I'm going to do 5 laps around the rink. And the coach kind of laughs and says, no, I think it's going to be more like 50. And by the way, the amount of time, this is the time you have per lap. And this is the direction you're going to skate. Or, they're going to give you feedback and hold you accountable to a higher level. And
interesting.
Good business coaches do that.
Well, I'd like to say they kind of push you then, right? Further than you've been used to.
Yes. And they'll also when you're thinking about your goals, they'll probe you. So like, hey, I think I'll do 5 laps. A good business coach will say, is 5 laps what the high performing companies in your area are doing or in your industry? No, maybe let's think about can we look this up quickly? Mm-hmm. So they'll push you to think through, or does this even make sense? Is this a top priority for your company, or is this something you'd like to play with?
Well, one thing I want to add, you said coach has a different view, right? They're not in the game. And that made me think perspective, right? Because they're not in the game, they're not involved, they're not doing the day-to-day. They have a completely different view. They are seeing stuff that you I'll say certainly don't see when you're in the weeds.
Yep. The analogy tends to break down a little bit, though, when you get to like, hey, in the game in hockey, the coach could put you on the bench in business, you can fire the coach, right? You can't when I was a kid playing hockey, it's not like I can fire the coach. That did not happen,
right?
And could not happen. The business owner can fire the coach or the business coach, so that the relationship is somewhat different, and so it's the accountability. In the end, the business owner, the person who's running the business, really has to hold themselves accountable to it. There's a fine line of accountability. Like the person will remind you, here's what it was. Is that really what you were intending to do? Is that really what happened here? It's a level of accountability that makes a good business owner uncomfortable if they know that they're sort of cheating themselves. Like the business coach then puts it right out in front of you. Is that really what you were trying to do? And they're like, so they
kind of like the ugly truth. Like,
yeah, exactly.
They don't want to even see it themselves. They know it, but
sure.
It's there.
Sure. Yeah. So there's a lot of help in that. And the biggest one, at least for us, is to help us sort of break down. A good business coach will understand your industry somewhat. And really top coaches really do know your industry. So like, for example, our coach is in the accounting industry. He coaches other accounting firms. And say like in auto repair, there's a number of auto repair coaches across the country. And I believe that any good auto repair shop is going to have a coach, because they'll help that business owner think through what they're doing. Are they keeping to the metrics? Why not? What are some underlying reasons? Maybe that coach can give you some ideas about where to look to find those answers, or just remind you that this is where the answers are that you already know about. So just go look. And they'll give you some ideas how to hold your team accountable.
It sounds like they're really valuable, right? You know, they produce. They don't actually really physically produce something for you besides giving you kind of the tools you need to do it yourself. So let's talk about one, like how long, like duration, goals, and of course cost.
Sure. So, a lot of business coaches will either pay or charge like a monthly, I don't know if this is what you're getting at, but like either a monthly fee or like a quarterly fee. And I think most coaches' base is roughly going to be about $1,500, maybe $2,000 per month. Or if it's quarterly, maybe like $5,000 a quarter, $6,000 a quarter, something like that.
And when you say that, like these coaches, are they usually just an individual, or like gigantic companies that do coaching, or are they kind of a varied bunch?
It's varied. So like in the auto repair industry, you have several coaching companies.
Okay.
We happen to work a lot with the Institute, and they have a myriad of coaches. We don't work exclusively with the Institute, but we definitely work with them a lot. And I'm most familiar with them. So they'll have a whole bunch of individuals who know a lot about how auto repair shops work. We work with a CPA he's a partner of a larger CPA firm. And so the benefit there is he sees stuff at a level that's higher than ours. And so like it's aspirational a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Like, for example, if we hired someone who was a one-man show, that gets a little bit tricky because they won't understand necessarily what it means to grow to say from like 80 to say 200 employees. What does that look like for you?
Yeah. So it's almost like you're paying for that person. It sounds weird. Not necessarily. It's their experience because they have walked that exact path, and you want to know what it's like.
What that's like. Yep.
And in all honesty, if we say it's $1,500 is not that much to gain the knowledge that you need to grow from, let's say, 100 employees to 150 employees and increase your total income by, let's say, $1 million.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a ton of shops making, say, auto repair shops making, say, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 a year, jump up to, say, $200,000. Is that worth $1,500 a month?
From a dollar standpoint,
seems pretty obvious to me.
Well, and there is the extra part of like, yes, it does cost something, and it also costs time, effort, and energy. And also there is pain, right? The pain points of, hey, I have to make uncomfortable decisions because insert, information may include removing someone that you're a really good friend with,
or actions that I, as the owner, are doing.
Mm-hmm. That's not enjoyable to have
to.
Yeah,
I have to change some things, and with those changes come the opportunity to make a lot more money.
Yeah, and aside from just the money aspect, in some ways it can revolutionize your business. Yes, money plays a big role, but just taking it from, hey, your morale is really bad, and it's your employees are not producing as much as they could, and it could be an efficiency issue where it's just, hey, let's tweak these things, and that on top of it will increase profitability.
And you think about it from an employee standpoint, right? An employee might look at it and say, oh, the business owner is making a lot more money. Mm-hmm. Wow, why am I not getting a chunk of that? Mm-hmm. Look at it from a different perspective, is as an employee, say the business is making 1% or 2% profit margin. At that sort of range, like $30,000 to $40,000 a year, right? A shop could go under. 1 or 2% is so low that if there's a really bad year, that's it.
Something could happen and knock out.
So would you rather work for an employer that is a 50-50 shot of surviving that year, and every year you're on another 50-50 roller coaster, versus like that very, very low percentage this thing's going under? There's a huge difference in security and thinking like, I can think about this over a 10-year period as opposed to every year is a 50-50 opportunity.
Getting back to paying for someone's experience, we know that new businesses have a very high failure rate.
They do.
Right? Every year it's up in the, I think it was 90-some%. But
it's very high.
It's up there. So you're paying for the experience of someone who has walked the path of success.
Sure.
So again, that is more value.
Absolutely.
All right. As we kind of wrap this up, Clay, anything else you want to add with business coaches?
I think we've hit all the big ones.
Do you have any suggestions if someone was to be just hunting around in general, like for their industry? Obviously, we could all use Google, but do you have any suggestions when they're looking around, something to look for or to avoid?
Yeah, I can make two suggestions. If you're in the auto repair industry, I'd definitely get an auto repair coaches. There's coaches that are very good and are set up to help auto repair shops right away. If you can't find anything for your industry, I'd probably start with something like EOS or Patrick Lencioni or something. They have more generalized coaches as opposed to a specialized for your industry.
And a lot of those are just good starting points to begin with for any business, and that helps you with the structure.
Yes.
And there is a ton of accountability.
Yeah. Great.
Thank you, Clay.
Thanks, Mark.
You've been listening to Kaizen Time, part of the Blood, Sweat, and Business podcast. If you like what you heard, subscribe and leave a 5-star review. This podcast has been brought to you by Kaizen CPAs Plus Advisors, providing advisory and accounting services to help you grow your business. Learn more at kaizencpas.com or email us at bsb@kaizencpas.com.